hell? There we go. Ah! What's going on, Lake-a-Link? Yeah, I had to get clean today, man. Let me stop playing. You guys can hear me? Where's my controls? Why is this tripping? Loud and clear. Am I too loud? I get it in my pocket. Blue water. So it looks better and sounds better this week. Yes. Why am I behind on my... Why is this not scrolling? There we go. What's up, Squidbag? What's up, Blunt CZ? Blunt CD? I said Blunt CD. Santiago, what's up, man? Must be the suit. Please don't fall. I'm asking for trouble doing that. I'm just gonna put you over there. Like the tie. Only reason I wore the tie is so I can get this stupid lav mic to stay on. But it's cool. I like a hipster. Hipster tee. What's up, Sharjar? What's up? The allergies, man. Can you guys hear my fan? Going to a dance. Nah, man. Just want to get clean from the stream. You see, my video and audio is much better this week because I was talking that smack last week. So I had to get everything clean. How was your day? Who's that? 12 feet tall. What's up, T? How was your day? What's with the suit, by the way? Did something? Got married? No, I've been married, man. Been married 7 years. 7 years and 2 weeks. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lake Link. Thank you, Santiago. Yeah, we've been together for 11, married 7. Nah, see, I won't get the date wrong because I'm the one who picked it. And if you want to know what it is, it's 8/8/11. 88/11. So that's why I will never forget it, because it's 88/11. That was my choice. Why can't I get to scroll and... give me a second, guys. Everything is fine. I'm just trying to get my setup going here. My screen won't go down. Go down. Ugh, being a pain in my bizzles. Trying to outdo Sega for the what? For the $99.99 Dreamcast. Nah, I just want to get something that I would remember, not screw up, because ladies don't like when you forget. It's okay for them to forget, but they don't like you to forget. 8 years, Zyphos Gaming, nice. I hope it's all been prosperous. And with my wife for 21 years, married for 2. So this is like a young love progressing into like a marriage thing. That's cool, man. Oh yeah, 999. See, I got a funny story. Maybe I'll talk about that later when I talk about Shenmue, my Dreamcast story. I think I talked about it before, but just in case everybody hasn't heard it. Mr. Clean over here made me forget that PS4 won the NPD charts of July. What? I don't get the PS4 part. What do you mean? I thought they... I'm definitely missing a joke. I thought Nintendo won NPD. But that means I'm missing a joke. And I haven't eaten yet, so my brain ain't working all the way. I'm going to try to stop sniffling so much, but I can't help it once I start going on my allergies, man. Where's Little T? Who's Little T? You talking about my son? Or are you talking about action figure? Puppet? Yeah, allergies suck. They do. And, you know, I try not to go overboard once I get them, because when I do, if I, like, focus on them too much, they never seem to go away, and then I get, like, a headache, which just completely ruins my day. So I'm trying to be chill. Usually if I get a headache, it's earlier, so it's 6:42 here, so I'm going to get started soon. What's up? Nuts, Mr. Super Average. Luke King. I didn't shout you out, my bad. Squidbag, I think I got you earlier. Does anybody hear my fan? It's not up that loud, and the mic is pretty good. Sony. So... yeah, let me get that up so I can see. Yes, but not off-putting. I'm missing something. I got allergies too. My eyes are very red after I smoke. His eyes get red after you smoke. Funny. Good stuff there, Bluntsy. Good stuff there. Bluntsy. I got you, Bluntsy. All right, cool. Everything sounds good. All right, so we'll get started. Can you guys even see my mic? Oh, yeah. On that camera, you can. Or on that. All right. How much of the screen you can see? Oh, that's fine. All right. So, adjust this camera a little bit. What are we going to talk about? Yeah, can you believe I'm back? 2 in a row. 2 weeks in a row. Here we are for T-Talk LIVECast number 2. Let's go. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Yeah, I'm going a little earlier because I know a lot of people stream, especially on Friday nights. So I'm trying to beat them to the punch a little bit. But, you know, my stream going to be the best. Right? No. So let's get into the talk. The talk. Gamescom 2018. Quite eventful. More eventful than I don't think I've ever really paid attention to Gamescoms before. And it's almost like a little tiny little E3 event for Nintendo, especially with their whole Red Cube thing. I don't know if you guys have been checking it out. It's been pretty good. It feels very similar to the Treehouse, but German style, you know? So that's pretty cool. Why can't I get my chat and my video to display it at once? Can I get rid of something? Maybe I can bring this. Oh, let me try to bring this up. Oh, that was probably a mistake. Oh, got something. Oh, give me a second. Why are you running so slow? Oh no, what's going on? Oh, it's wigging out. The computer's wigging out. So that was the problem. I used my laptop last time. One. And now it doesn't want to. There we go. Good. I used my laptop last time, and yeah, I use the same camera. You can't. It probably looks like a night and day difference with the camera. But I'm using my desktop now, so that's why everything's going good. I hear it a little bit too much. Are you talking about me? Oh no. Yes, but not off. Everything sounds good. T going to give us the talk. What's up, Rage Gamers? The business casual day or what? No, I just felt like, because I never get to wear my little suit jacket much anymore. So I just felt like rocking it. And I knew I was going to have to rock this tie to hold up my lav mic. I didn't want to stick it to my shirt. I'd be hitting it too much. So I figured, let's do that. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So Gamescom 2018. Everything's looking pretty lovely. In a way, it feels like, well, besides like having Smash Brothers Ultimate, it feels like, almost feels like this is a better E3 for Nintendo in some ways, because you're getting surprising game reveals that didn't happen at E3, mainly because, you know, a lot of leaks happen and whatnot, and there are definitely some surprises popping up at I was about to say E3 at Gamescom for Nintendo, so that's pretty dope. Dapper Dan over here. Yeah, like even when I'm at school teaching and whatnot, I don't really get to wear, because it's too warm right now anyway. But it feels good in here, so I figured let me throw the jacket on. Anyway, yeah, we got some nice reveals. I'm not going to run down all of them. You know, some of them are ports from yesteryear. But yeah, let's talk about that. I did it in my video, so we'll just talk a little bit more about that. We're getting Grandia. Let's see how this comes out. Oh, it's a little bright. All right, something like that. My screen is over here. It's weird. But yeah, Grandia 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch, which is dope. As you can see, this is my Sega Saturn copy because I never got it on PlayStation. Because I didn't have a PlayStation when it came out. And I believe this game came out on Saturn late 97. I'm pretty sure I got it in early 98. That's when I picked it up at Blockbuster Games. I don't know if some of you guys may remember it. I don't know if it was nationwide. It probably was. But Blockbuster Games was like a games only store for, that was like a, what do you call it? A offshoot of Blockbuster. And it was only games, and it wasn't rentals. It was all sales. So it was just like a EB Games or a GameSpot. Is it GameSpot or GameStop? GameStop. It was just like one of those, but it was under Blockbuster. So there was only one in my city, and it was at the mall, and it was pretty cool. Like they had like a section for what do you call it? For import games, and that's where I used to get a lot of my import games from. Because back then, you think it's tough shipping now. Back then, it wasn't as everywhere it is now, as far as being able to buy stuff everywhere. Because of Amazon and whatnot. Back then, it was just like you got to go to a website and hope your package gets there. So it was really cool to have that. That import section in Blockbuster Games. That's where I got a lot of my imports from. And a lot of times nowadays, the imports are cheaper than the American versions because those are a lot more rare. In Japan, you didn't know, Sega Saturn sold pretty well. So there were more copies of games than there were released in the West. So even today, it's cheaper to buy the Japanese version. And should probably do that if it makes sense. Like if there's too much Japanese text or anything like that, stay away. But obviously, Grandia was Japanese text heavy. And like I said in my video, I bought the PlayStation strategy guide for Grandia on the PlayStation, but I used it for my Saturn to help me kind of get through and guide me through. And I also used, like, I'm sure there was like not tutorials, but like sites that would help you out, kind of walkthrough guides on the internet back then. And it was just text. It wasn't like it is now where you get all like video and all crazy graphics. It was just like lines of text. So that's how I got through the game, because I didn't get it on, like I said, I didn't have PlayStation at the time. So got a PlayStation, I think late 98, maybe early. It's most likely early to mid 99. I can't remember. But even when I didn't spend a whole lot on it. I mostly got like Crash and stuff like that, and Spyro. Yeah, Spyro. I'll say Pyro. Actually, Pyro was the name they were gonna use, but they changed it to Spyro at the last minute. Spyro the Dragon. Little trivia for you there. They were gonna call him Pyro the Dragon, but they changed it to Spyro because it sounded more kid friendly and didn't sound like kids burning up a house or something. So, so that's how my Grandia. So I wasn't able to get like all the way in because obviously I had the curve of the language barrier. So I still really enjoyed it. It's a really beautiful game, especially for that time, and I had a lot of fun with it. So that was my experience with Grandia. I never got it on Dreamcast, or at least Grandia 2 on Dreamcast for some reason. I don't know. Just that time I was. I was into the ladies, and I was doing my hip hop thing. That's when I really started doing that, and I was spending a lot of money at the studio, doing studio sessions. So a lot of my money went to that, and not gaming as much. That was my Grandia experience. So it's gonna be really cool to be able to play that on Switch with Grandia and Grandia 2 together, because I never got to play 2, like I said. So that is awesome, and that kind of out of left field announcement there, and it kind of harkens back to what I was saying about emulation and ROMs and all that stuff, and people getting bent out of shape. Like I said, these companies are going to start putting their old games out there again, and that's one of the reasons why Nintendo is like out in front. But I'm sure I will not be surprised if other companies also, if they have the means to anyway, start trying to, like, you know, combat this stuff, because they're going to want to start selling their games again. And a console like the Switch is perfect for that retro gamer. Retro gamers seem to really love the Switch. So, and obviously we also got another left field announcement. I'm sure you can see this. Yeah, left field announcement with Saints Row the Third, and a lot of people are like, why isn't it the latest one? Well, I thought the latest one wasn't that good. To me, this is the best one. Some people will say 2, but I like the fact that this started to have a lot more fun in this version. I think 4 got way out of control, and that's one of the reasons it didn't work. But I thought this was a good balance of just like traditional, quote-unquote, GTA style stuff, but with more fun things to do, more not taking itself as serious. Not that GTA is overly serious, but this to me, the one of the things I really liked about the Saints Row series is that the driving vehicles feels a lot better and not as floaty to me as in the GTA series. So, but yeah, it's really cool that this game's coming as well. I'll put that there. I'll put it down here. Because we don't have an open world style action game, third person action game, and the Switch, to me, like I said in the video again, the Switch is pretty cool for that, because obviously it's also a handheld device, and it's just really cool to have a game that size that you can take anywhere. That's one of the big things, the big draws for me about Skyrim coming, was that, like, crazy how big Skyrim is, and be able to carry it around in my little, in my little Switch. It's just insane. So yeah, very cool that that's coming. And if you haven't played it and you're mildly interested, I would say pick it up. Definitely. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy over the top humor, and it's a lot of fun. And I also said one of my hopes was that for the Switch would be to get these games from quote unquote yesteryear that would be easy ports. Maybe some of the later current gen games are not as easy of a port, but anything on Xbox 360 and PS3 would be an easy port. And again, it should be priced accordingly. I got this stupid fly flying around here, and I tried to get him. Where's my zapper? Where is it? Zapper. Anyway, I lost my mic. So much for the tie helping out. But anyway, games like that would be an easy port to the Switch, and it would be a nice different market. I feel like there's a lot of games out there that people might have missed, even though they did come out on 360 and PS3. It's not like everybody played every game, and there's games like Kingdoms of Amalur, for one, that I think is a really good action RPG that would find a new market on the Switch. And I mentioned in my video Enslaved, which is a game that, again, not a lot of people bought. Like, a lot of core gamers know this game. They played it. But overall, this game didn't do very well in the market. And I think it would find a nice niche on the Switch. Niche on the Switch. And another one, Remember Me. Remember Me? From Capcom. Well, they published it anyway. Who did? Don't Nod Entertainment. Another Unreal Engine game. And visually gorgeous game. I don't know if you guys have... I'm sure I had gameplay on my channel at some time playing this game, but the combat system isn't as deep as it like to be, as it wants to be, but it's a good story and really nice visuals. And I think the gameplay is fun enough to keep you going through, because the story is pretty compelling, and I kind of like that kind of punk future world, cyberpunk kind of, that's what it is. It's kind of like a cyberpunk game. It's kind of set in this kind of new world kind of setting, and it's real cool. And how about some BioShock? I don't have BioShock 2 because I didn't like it, but because I played it at my friend's house. He loves BioShock, and I ended up getting 1 and Infinite. And these games on a, what do you call it, a deluxe pack or something, would be great. Kind of like what they're doing with Dark Souls on PS4 and Xbox One. And another no-brainer, a game that would fit beautifully on the Switch, I think, Borderlands 2. Or you can just add, all the Borderlands together. Is it Handsome Jack Collection that has 1 and 2? So they already have a collection for it already. So, yeah, games like that, I think, would fit really well. As long as they're priced accordingly. I say 30, 40 at the max, but 30 I think is the perfect spot. And I think you can find a new audience for games. Obviously, Borderlands sold pretty well. But like I think games like Remember Me and Enslaved would be great games to bring over for a Nintendo fan base who may not have played those games, or just a regular fan base who might have just missed those games, I know people who have PCs and Xboxes and PS4s, and they still miss a lot of these games. Like, oh, I never heard of that. And, that still happens. Retro Death, he never heard of, what's the game? Bulletstorm. He never heard of Bulletstorm until I did the video about it. He was like, oh. And I think he just got it. It's a fun game. It's not great. It's not amazing, but it's a fun game with a nice new mechanic for a first-person shooter. And I think a game like that would make a lot of sense. So let me read you guys' comments here. You guys have been popping off. I got to scroll back a little bit. Where are we? Funko Land, a little bit further. Grandia. The fan I hear a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, so about right there. 2018 was. I'm not gonna read that. Grandia 1 and 2. Let's go. Grandia 1 is a must for me. Grandia baby. Says Rage Gamers. Little Dragons Cafe is out today. Little Dragons Cafe. What's that? Sounds familiar. All right, so Visor Red Grunt. I said it again. Visored Grunt. R34 says, when I heard about the remaster of Grandia, I think Gradius and think, do people want bullet hell game? Yeah, I can see that. Grandia, Gradius, yeah. Man, the cutscenes in Grandia with the music blew me away. Exactly. If we got a remaster of Alundra 3, I'd be happy. Never played that. Never played the Alundra series. Hippie de Hop. He just said Hippie de Hop. Sega is selling 50 random ROMs with the emulator on Steam. It's on sale right now. Is that for real? Ewan Wickred, if Microsoft and Nintendo are becoming more friendly, and that we're getting a lot of ports, Xbox 360, PS3 era stuff, could we get a perfect dark HD remaster? Ooh, that would be like, I would like anything, almost anything from Rare that they remastered to come over to Switch. Banjo-Kazooie's obviously. I just think a good move for Microsoft and Nintendo would be to have the Rare Replay on Switch. Like, that game just feels like it should be a Switch game. Obviously, Microsoft owns Rare, but like, y'all being all buddy-buddy, it's only going to benefit both of you for that to happen. And I think the sales will go through the roof for that game. So, online co-op depends on the price too. Yeah. The price is very important. Like I said, I'm happy that it's coming, but if they price it for too much, I'm not feeling that at all, Santiago. So, feel you on that. So, do you think GTA will be ported over to the Switch? I don't think the Switch can handle it. You don't think the Switch can handle GTA 5 You realize GTA 5 is on PS3 and Xbox 360, right? So if it's on those consoles, Switch could definitely handle it. And I think it would be closer to the PS4 Xbox One version. So it'll be somewhere in between those two if they wanted to put the work in. But if they wanted to just port the 360 one, yeah, I'm sure it'd be no problem. Who said that? Liu Kang. Yeah, so 12 feet tall says try to catch the fly with chopsticks. Yeah, I don't know where he is now. I can't catch him with chopsticks. Remember in the remake for Karate Kid when Miyagi, aka Jackie Chan, was gonna catch the fly with chopsticks and then he just hit it with a fly swatter? Wasn't that funny? Wasn't it hilarious? No. Nice glasses, says Terminator Juice. Thank you. They're not that expensive or anything, but thanks anyway. I don't remember this game, sorry. What game are you talking about, 12 feet tall? Miss K, well, hey, Mr. T. When did you start doing hangouts with Cam on? It's been a little minute. It's been like 2 months. I did the video. Well, it was right before E3, or right the day of E3 is when I came on camera. I did a whole video, so go back and check it out. I did a video talking about E3, Nintendo's E3 and whatnot. So, Rebel One, what's good, Mr. T? What's up? 12 feet tall. Wait a minute, I'm so terrible at this. So it eats the bigger one. Juices Loose podcast is better. Is he saying it's better? Why am I so bad at greater than less than? Why can I not remember that? And I'm teaching people. The Switch is good for their first party titles, but the third party, I'd rather play them on PS4, to be honest. I guess. I mean, I could see that if you want the best visuals and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I can understand that. But for me, I want to have games on the console I'm going to play the most. And obviously, being a crazy Nintendo fan that I am, if I can get it on my Nintendo console, that's where I'm going to play it. And if it can't be like a slideshow. It has to play well, like NBA 2K18. Like, it's 30 frames per second, but I don't miss the 60 when I play it on Switch, and it's cool to be able to just curl up on the couch and get my games in, because I play full 82 game seasons. So, and then there's the online stuff with the story mode and all that. So, like, I made a video talking about how I like to have sports games on handheld devices if I can. I used to play on PSP a lot, sports games, because of the grindy nature of sports games. You're playing, baseball, you're playing 150 games. Basketball, you're playing 80, plus games for a season. So for me, it's just on the console I'm gonna have turned on the most. That's where I'm gonna play the games if I can, and if they're good enough. It's funny. Oh Lord, let's see what RX said. It's funny. Why did it move? It's funny, people waiting for a Hat in Time. Why the hell are they waiting? It's on consoles right now. Because people like to play on what they like to play on. So, like I did that with Batman for Wii U. Like, I could have bought it. I had a 360 at the time. I had a PS3. But I was like, I got enough games right now. I don't need to buy it. I can wait for it. I'll play what I got right now. And then when it comes out on a console that I have turned on the most, that's where I'm going to play it. So people have preferences, That's just how it is. Dude, what Switch with LA Noire worked really well. It looked almost identical to other. Yeah, like the remastered stuff from the last gen, all that stuff pretty much looks just like the remastered versions of the PS4 on Xbox One. Now, when you come into current gen, it won't be as strong. Obviously, games like NBA 2K18, which is a current gen game, it's 30 frames per second. But it's funny because I remember, I think it was Black Baron, he posted a screenshot of him playing NBA 2K18 on the Switch, but he said he was playing it on the Xbox One, and people didn't even know. They had no idea, and he was trolling them. That's just how it is. It's like, if you don't know, like, this is stuff that people think they care about, but they don't realize it. You know, that it's not, at the end of the day, it's not that big a deal. Obviously, 30 frames to 60 frames is the difference. But like I said, in basketball, you know, it doesn't bother me. And I'd rather play on the box that I'm going to be playing the most. Like, you know, I have a PS4, but I haven't turned that thing on in a couple months now because I'm playing mostly on my Switch, and that's where I play the most, on my Xbox One. So, preferences. All right, where are we? For Nintendo Switch Online, how long do you think it will be? Edward, or Ewan Wickward says, for Switch Online, how long do you think it will be before we get SNES titles with online play? It should be day one. Do I want to rant here? Because I'm going to do a rant about Nintendo and their online situation. I'm not going to do it here. Wait for a video for that, standalone video, because Nintendo, for all their advancements, they take 2 steps back in the simplest stuff, and it really annoys me. And I don't understand it for a company who's been in it before day one to be, I don't know if it's stubborn, because they have the ability. I mean, I voice chatted on my DS, you know, my Nintendo, not 3DS, my Nintendo DS with, you know, just a little headset. And for us to be in this situation at this point, it makes 0 sense. Where we're using a cell phone. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. We're using a cell phone to, like, message people or to voice chat. That is, messaging is fine. I don't think that's a feature of it, but to voice chat, that's just insanity. When I should have pulled up I don't have it here, but when I have a 2D, or a 2DS, a regular DS from 2005 that can voice chat, that I did that with on Metroid Prime Hunters. Maybe that was 06, but you get the point. It's just insane for this to be going on. So, I forgot Doom Eternal was coming to the Switch. It's pretty cool, but hopefully it'll run well. I mean, I think it'll look better than the first Doom on Switch, but I wouldn't expect nothing too crazy. Maybe we'll get it's weird to say this, 720p, you know, docked at 30 frames. And 30 frames on Doom for the Switch, like I said, if it wasn't fast enough, I would just play it on my PC, but it feels really good. It feels really good. Same goes for Wolfenstein. Like, I'm just getting into that now. It feels great on Switch. Is it as visually stunning? No. But I play games for the gameplay. Obviously, visuals is a bonus. But if it's not hampering my fun, I don't give a shit. Like, I really don't. I still play all my old consoles like they came out yesterday. And I still have a lot of fun with them, and it doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people can't go back, but I go back all the time, and it's fun. So I still love playing GoldenEye. I wish it was online, but it's not. So all right, we're gonna get into the next topic here pretty soon. Nintendo just SimZim, what's up? My boy SimZim's in the chat. If you don't know SimZim, all my artwork, all my Mr. T artwork was done by him. My banner, the Mr. T avatar I use, it was all done by him. He's been down from like day one, basically, of my channel, and he hooked me up with all my cool artwork. So shout outs to him. He pops in every once in a while. I see him, so gotta shout him out for sure. Shout out. Rebel One, totally agree with you about having sports games like NBA 2K or grinding games like Breath of the Wild? What is that? Or maybe it is and just typoed it. On mobile hybrid, just so much more convenient. Yeah, especially like RPGs. Like I said, RPGs work really well on mobile handheld devices because I can just grind for a little bit, put it down. You know, I don't have to be sitting in front of the TV grinding, being bogged down. But when you feel like doing that, you can obviously do that. That's what's so cool about the Switch. You can put it on your big screen and do your thing. And I said even before I played it that I would likely be doing a lot of traversing in Breath of the Wild off screen or on handheld, and just doing a lot of the what do you call it, the shrines on my TV and stuff like that, and the big moments. And that's pretty much what I did. I think Breath of the Wild was like a 70-30 or 65-35, I would say. 65 on the TV, 35 off TV. So, very cool. Do another Nintendo. Man, you still messing with Nate, man? Leave Nate alone, man. Like, that was... what was that, like 3 years ago? You still bringing that up? Let it go. That's like people, when Jay-Z and Nas get in interviews, that's like people asking them about the beef they had in 2002. Like, that's crazy. And it was never beef. It was just like me throwing some digs at Nate back then. That's old stuff, man. Old stuff. Most game company when it comes to online gaming, yeah, I don't get it, man. They shouldn't be, because they were so innovative even in like the 90s with what they were doing online. And that's why, again, wait for my rant video. I'll talk about that. All right, so I'm gonna move on because I don't want this to go on too long. Next topic is Daemon Cross Machina. They put out a new trailer for Gamescom. The game is looking even better. It's looking stellar. If you guys don't know, I love mechs. Mechs is my thing. I love science fiction, and I just love mechs and robots, and like that's what I was actually gonna do when I graduated high school. I wanted to be a robotics engineer. I actually went to engineering school for about 8 months before that physics just got me. I just could not grasp the physics, and sadly I bowed out. But I just love science fiction. I love science. I wish I loved math a little bit more, so because you need math for science. Well, you know, I'm good at, like, you know, general and algebra, but I mean, I'm talking like what is it called? What's the math I'm talking about? Well, obviously physical. What is it called? I can't even think of it. See, that's how bad I am at that math. So yeah, I mean, like I'm really into robotics and science fiction, science, astronomy, all that good stuff. And so anytime, like, I got mad mech games, from like Gundam games to like Mech Assault, and you know, and we haven't gotten that many of these types of games in a long time. And so the first time I saw it at the trailer at E3, again, another out of left field like announcement for a game coming to Switch was Daemon Cross Machina, and it just looked great. I love the art style of it. That's one of the things I love so much about Xenoblade Chronicles X, was the whole mech thing. That was pushing me through some of the slower, earlier moments in that game, because I wanted to get that mech and fly around and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So Daemon Cross Machina looks awesome, and they, like I said, they blew out some more gameplay for the game. Calculus, thank you. I don't know. See, thank you, Unstable and Ewan. Is that how you say your name? Yeah, Calculus. Calculus messed me up. So that's why I bowed out of. I was really good at like building circuits, but to build those circuits, you need the math. I was really good hands-on and, you know, soldering and all that stuff. I had straight A's in high school, my electronics class, and so I was like, I went into technical school to further that, and that calculus beat me upside the head. But yeah, like I said, Daemon Cross Machina looks great. It's good to see that type of game again. I think the last mech game that I got into was probably Kojima's Zone of the Enders on PS2. I didn't get it on PS2. I got the HD remasters on PS on PS3, and that's where I got into those games. And they just, they're not. I don't think they're great. I think I think they're really good. Both of them. I like the first one a little better, but I think that was kind of the last mech game I got into. And I always wanted to get that that crazy big Steel Battalion game. I'm still gonna get that because I'm a collector, unofficial collector. That big Steel Battalion game with 100 buttons on it for the original Xbox. I never got that. I wanted to. I don't really have anywhere to put it, but like I said, I like mechs, and it's really cool to see a game like that come into the Switch because, again, it's another kind of niche style game that people will pay attention to because we don't see that many of them. You see shooters all the time. A shooter come into the Switch. We don't really have a lot on there, so that would be a big thing too. But I think a niche game, like a genre type of game, like a mech game, will stand out. And I think as the time goes on, we get closer to whatever the release date is because we don't know what it is yet. I think people will get more excited for that game. I'm already excited for it. I was excited the first time I saw it. Gamescom, they showed a lot more gameplay. They sat down with the developers and it's pretty cool. You should check out that Red Cube stuff. It's really good. It's very much like the Treehouse stuff. So yeah, what do you guys think about Daemon Cross Machina? Let me see what you guys are saying down here in the chat. What do we got here? Tony, should I play OG Xenoblade Chronicles before I play X or no? You don't have to. You don't have to play X before, or you don't have to play Chronicles before X. But you know what? I would actually. Have you played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 yet? Because if you haven't, I would definitely say play Xenoblade Chronicles before you play Chronicles 2. But X, I don't think you don't have to play X before playing 1. So I hope that helps. I feel like a Daemon Cross Machina is going to be fire 2019. Yeah, hopefully it comes out early 2019, like March, April at the latest, but who knows. But 2019 at this point, I mean, we don't have a lot of solid release dates. We don't really have any. I think we have they talk about what year it's going to come out in. Maybe a couple of games have talked about what part of the year, but 2019 is looking disgusting for games on the Switch. So especially from first party. I mean, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, maybe Metroid, hopefully Metroid, because I thought it was going to come out this year, actually in the fall winter, but not happening. Doesn't look like it, unless it's going to be a surprise. So you have that. What else? What am I missing here, guys? Help me out. You got Yoshi. You got oh my gosh, what else is coming? I should have made a list. I wanted to make a list before I started this stream, but I was already late. But there's a lot of games coming, first party from Nintendo. And who knows? I think they have some surprises. Obviously, they always have surprises, but I think there's going to be a couple of surprises for core Nintendo fans next year as well. Yeah, I said Fire Emblem and Yoshi. Bayonetta, that's what I was trying to remember. Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3, most likely. Again, it's not a solid release date, but I think, I mean, they wouldn't put out Bayonetta 1 and 2 earlier this year and make it wait 2 years for Bayonetta 3. I don't think. I think they were trying to prime up everybody. So, yeah, I mean, and Pokemon, thank you. That's another big one, obviously. Pokemon, the core Pokemon game coming out next year. Thanks, Santiago. Liu Kang, Mr. T, off topic. But Banjo-Kazooie better be in Smash Ultimate, considering the fact that Nintendo said everyone is here. That include, like, I would love for that to happen. Being a crazy Banjo-Kazooie fan that I am, I would love to see that happen. I think Nintendo and Microsoft need to make that happen. Again, another thing that's beneficial for both parts, because Microsoft is doing nothing with Rare. They've never done anything with Rare. At least Rare's historic IPs. They've tried to give us some other stuff like Sea of Thieves from Rare, and they did do Perfect Dark Zero, which was terrible. And I guess Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, I guess you could say that. But that game, I wouldn't say it's a bad game. It's just not what a core Banjo-Kazooie fan wanted. That's for sure. I couldn't get into it, but I wouldn't say it's a bad game. It's just not my type of game. And it's just not what you should have done with Banjo-Kazooie after all that time. So, and I know the team wanted to do something new, but for me, I wasn't feeling that. So, yeah, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie and Smash would be stinking amazing. Like, the closest we got to them basically is Duck Hunt Duo. So you can kind of have an idea of the move sets and what they would do. And man, I would love a Duck Hunt Duo game. Like, I don't know what you'd call it, but a Duck Hunt Duo game in the vein of a Banjo-Kazooie would be amazing. Nintendo needs to like hire Playtonic and work with them and make that happen. That should be a nice 3D platformer. Elma for Smash. I don't know if Elma is there. I mean, is there any Xenoblade? I mean, we have Shulk, obviously, but is that the only Xenoblade representation we have in Smash? It's just Shulk, right? I think so. Sim, what's up? I'm a big Donkey Kong fan, I think you're trying to say there. Do you think we'll get a Donkey Kong 3 on the Switch, possibly a new 3D Donkey Kong? Man, I don't know. I would like to say yes. It could be, like I said, I'm going to say yeah, because that is actually one of the surprises I was talking about, that we could get a core, for the core Nintendo fan, announcement, if not a game next year, as a core or a new Donkey Kong 3D game. That would be amazing. I mean, we already got Mario, and the next one won't be for a few years, I'm sure. Wouldn't it be nice to get a nice little Donkey Kong 3D game again? We only got one on the N64, and it would be nice to get that. So, shout outs to that Englishman for the £2 donation. Keep these coming, T. Also, play Alundra. I will have to check it out. I'm going to take your word on that. I'm going to have to check that out. Tony, thanks for £2. Oh, thank you. Thanking the Englishman. Thanks for that, man. All right, what do we got here? Not Elma. Elmo for Smash. It's a kid's game. Good little pun there, Arik. So good stuff. Glad to hear the voice of Cammy is reprising her voice in Elma. Yep, that's cool. I heard that today, actually. Just found that out today. So very cool. Rebel 1, I'm definitely hyped for Daemon Cross Machina. I'm very interested in finding out more about the different game modes, how deep a single player mode is, and how the co-op works versus mode. Me too. Hopefully the single player is very deep. It looks like it is. We're getting hints of the game. We're not getting everything from it, obviously, but it looks like it might be deeper than it looked initially from the initial trailer, which makes sense. I mean, they're not going to show you everything in the first trailer anyway, so it's looking pretty cool. I saw some on-foot stuff outside of the mech, and I wanted to see how deep that goes, because if that's a 30% part of the game, that'd be pretty cool. So Yeah, I think it's just Shulk in Smash. Says who said that? Santiago. Yeah, I think that's the only representation from because it is kind of hard to do that with Xenoblade Chronicles because the games are very different. No character carries over other than the what do they call the little Nippon? What do they call Nopon? Other than those, certain characters like them, you don't get any representation. So maybe you get some Nopon in there. Looking snazzy, says I just got on a suit jacket. I'm in my drawers, actually. I got a suit jacket on. No, I'm kidding. But I don't have on any suit pants or anything. Michael Masiag, mainline Pokemon year. Oh, yeah. Yep, mainline Pokemon next year. Looking forward for that. I'm also looking forward for Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. I think there'll be a fun distraction, fun diversion. And, going back to Kanto is cool. And kind of having a reimagining of Pokemon Yellow. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be cool. I think people are giving it a lot of flack. I mean, I get it. I understand, core Pokemon fans. I wouldn't consider myself a core Pokemon fan because I haven't played every game. I'm not like the crazy Pokemon dude. Like, I dip in, I dip out, every couple of years or so. So I understand it, but I don't think core Pokemon fans should be worried or upset about Let's Go because it's a diversion. It's gonna do well. I think it's gonna sell well, but you shouldn't be afraid of it selling well. It's not gonna change what Pokemon is because all the Pokemon games sell 10 mil plus. I mean, the core Pokemon games sell 10 million plus every time, so there's no need to worry about it. Where are we? Yeah. Tony asked, do you think Sony Spider-Man will be a system seller for the PS4 next month? I don't know. It's coming at the right time of year, and I think PS4s are going to sell more. I think everybody's going to sell more this time of year anyway, so a game like Spider-Man definitely helps. I don't know how much more systems is going to help push the PS4. We have to see how good the game is. It looks like a good game, but we have to see, how it's received. But I mean, it's Spider-Man, so it's going to do well anyway. I don't know if it's going to sell systems, but I know it's probably going to sell really well with the 84 million plus PS4s out there. So I think it'll do well. Next year, this year into next year, the PS4 is kind of winding down, so I don't know how much more is going to sell. I think Sony thinks it'll hit 100 mil. It probably will, for sure. So I don't know how much Spider-Man's going to help that, but I'm sure it'll help some. Where are we? The on-foot stuff sounds pretty deep. Whatever skills. Clocked it. What's up, man? The on-foot sounds pretty deep. Whatever skills you learn carries on to your mech. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I didn't realize that what did they call the person? They called it something. I can't remember the name. But I didn't realize that your physical character is also customizable. So that opens up a lot, I think. So I think, the whole on-foot stuff in your humanoid character, that seems to be a lot deeper than it initially looked. So that is very cool. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to that stuff. Where are we? That one Englishman. Catch up with the rest of this tomorrow. Take care, Nintendo. All right, man. Thanks again for the donation as well. Imagine, Ewan asked, I imagine since they made a new piece of Pro 4. Yeah. You're talking about the sales, if it's going to help push. Yeah, I'm sure that PS4 Pro, that special one, is going to sell pretty decently. There goes my mic again. This clip is so weak. It's like a weak roach clip. I don't know nothing about that. I don't do those things. All right. Spider-Man is Stop it. Like, there's a lot of hype around Spider-Man, and I'm not there because it's like I'm sure it's gonna be a good game. Is that fly again? Where is my damn zapper? I'm sure it's gonna be a good game, but you know, like we've only really had one or two standout comic book video games. Well, series anyway. Like obviously the Batman Arkham games were standout. Like so that's for me. That's why I'm not overly excited for it. I'm still gonna buy it and play it. I probably have every Spider-Man game, almost every Spider-Man game, starting with the damn Atari, which that one was terrible. But I'm not like. To me, it's not like that big system sell. I'm not like going crazy for it. But I'm sure it's going to be a good game. I'm not saying it's not. Cloudy Mind Gaming, what up, T? What up, man? Tobey Maguire going to be in Sony Spider. Yeah, right. Is that true? Oh, you're asking Toby. You're asking. Are you trolling? Little good old Roach clips. Those were the days. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so Daemon Cross Machina looks great. I can't wait to see how much deeper it is. Hopefully, it's really deep with the single player stuff, and hopefully the co-op stuff is really cool. Like I want to go on, missions, with online with friends and stuff. I think that needs to be a thing. So, and I really dig that art style. I think it's really cool. Favorite Spider-Man game was Spider-Man 3 on Wii, using Wii Remote and Nunchuck to swing. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But see, that's the kind of stuff I like. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited when they do something like that. But I think at the end of the day, this Spider-Man game will be like a current gen version of like Spider-Man 2 on GameCube and PS2. I think was it on Xbox as well? Yeah, most likely. I think it'll be that, and that's what it's looking like for me. So it visually looks crazy, obviously, and so there'll be more of what you couldn't do back then. But I think it'll be more of that. Clocktic asks, T, do you think Nintendo should have brought up Starlink and had it changed into a full Star Fox title, with Ubisoft still working on it, bit like Dinosaur Planet and Star Fox Adventures? Yeah. It's, the crazy thing, I don't think I mentioned this in my video when I was talking about excitement or lack thereof this year with Nintendo first party. For me, like, Starlink is one of my most hyped games this year, which is crazy. Like, I was already on that game because I love space shooters. Like I said, I love anything to do with science fiction, futuristic shooters, stuff like that. Deus Ex, love that stuff. But for that game, I'm wondering if the Switch was actually what do they call that? The lead platform. I'm wondering if the Switch was the lead platform for Starlink, because obviously the type of game it is, I think it fits Nintendo fans better, and I feel like the Switch was in mind as far as being the lead platform for that game, and obviously that's why we got Star Fox in it. And so what do we have so far? We have Fox McCloud playable. Falco, is he? I think he's confirmed, right? And Peppy. I think everybody's in there. I think they have, at least on the, obviously only on the Switch version. I think their storyline is a big part of the Starlink game for the Switch version. So, I wonder. I have a feeling. I feel like Starlink probably started as a pitch from Ubisoft to do a Star Fox game, and maybe Nintendo turned it down, and maybe this was happening during like the Wii U, and Nintendo was already working on Star Fox 0, and so Ubisoft kind of had this on their back burner, and they turned it into Starlink. Star Fox. You fly these ships, and that whole Toys to Life, is that what they still call it, kind of aspect to it, fits Nintendo so well. It reminds me of Nintendo turning down Skylanders, which was kind of a big mistake. But, I mean, it's just like, I feel like the Switch was the lead platform for that game. And, yeah, maybe Nintendo should have done what they did. But it won't matter because we're getting like a whole Star Fox storyline in Starlink. And it's exclusive, obviously, to the Switch. So it's going to feel like I don't know anything about the other characters. I'm going to play that thing as Star Fox team. So, and I'm sure maybe eventually I'll go back and play it with the other characters. The main characters in the game, but like this is going to be my Star Fox game for sure, and I'm sure I'm going to go deep into it and buy all the attachments and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that game. It's weird that that's one of my most hyped games this year, but it really isn't because I love Star Fox. Star Fox 64 changed my life. I love that game. I love Star Fox on Super Nintendo, but I didn't see the possibilities because the Super Nintendo one was more of like, not that it was just a tech demo, but it was like, okay, we're gonna push the FX chip. We're gonna push what Star Fox can do, or 3D games can do on the Super Nintendo, and so that was kind of the wow factor, the wow moment of that game. But when 64 came around and you got the Rumble Pack, like that was just like a game-changing thing for me. And I got that game on my birthday that year, so it was like a big thing. It was like the last kind of young person present I got from my mom was Star Fox 64. So it also holds like a historic place in my history anyway. So yeah, I mean, this is my Star Fox game, and it could have been Nintendo's, I guess, but they probably felt like, we don't need to lock this game away. We could still get what we want out of it, because I think a lot of Nintendo fans are definitely going to jump on this game. I liked it when we didn't know anything about Star Fox being in it, and when they said Star Fox, no brainer. I'm gonna definitely pick it up. So, where are we? T-pose. Is that a reference to 3D modeling? Bluntsy Z, or Bluntsy D. I keep calling Bluntsy Z. Bluntsy D. I hope Spider-Man will have motion control. Spider-Man for PS4. I mean, that's the only one that's coming. Motion control. What are they gonna do with? How they're gonna use the? Does the? I can't even remember. It does have PS4 controller. Does have motion control. I never use it, but yeah, obviously it has the pointer thing. So I doubt they're gonna do anything with it. Stoked for Starlink says no filter in Nintendo podcast. Always wanted an R-Wing statue. Oh yeah, that's a cool thing too. Is that we get that cool R-Wing statue. Basically, use R-Wing little thing, little model or whatever. Good point about possibly already working on Star Fox. Yeah, I think clocked it. I think Nintendo was probably working on Star Fox Zero, and they probably turned Ubisoft down, and because that's happened before in the history of Nintendo, where somebody come up with an idea and they kind of turn it down. They did that with I mentioned before the game Croc, The Legend of Gabos on PS1. It's on Saturn too. Those games started out as a pitch for a Yoshi standalone 3D game, and Nintendo turned it down because they were kind of working on Yoshi's story at the time. They wanted to go that route, 2D route, so they turned down that game. And Croc, Legend of Gabos, could have been a 3D Kirby game back. Kirby, I said Kirby. Yoshi game could have been a 3D Yoshi game back then. So it's happened before, and it's going to continue to happen. Yeah, playing it all the way as a Star Fox team. Yep. Do a barrel roll then. Did they already? I mean, I know that was like in the trailer, do a barrel roll, but is that going to be a thing? It has to be. You don't build new characters. Did you see Everspace trailer for Switch? Yeah, Retro Death. I saw the Everspace trailer. It looks awesome. and definitely getting that. It's but the only thing that turns me off is when I hear roguelite, because I'm not a big fan of roguelite games. But I think I'll push myself through this one because it looks like a game that's right up my alley. So, yeah, for sure. It was in the UK Indie Direct. Yes, I saw it. Yeah. Surreal Entertainment. I'm here. What's up, Surreal? Welcome. We've been going for what, an hour 10. So what is the next topic? Shenmue. You guys probably know that I'm a Shenmue fanatic. I love Shenmue, and it won't, like, if you didn't play Shenmue back then, that series probably won't resonate with you. I'm saying probably. It depends on when you got into it. If you got into it, say, post Grand Theft Auto 3 or GTA 3, maybe not GTA 3 so much, maybe San Andreas or the Yakuza series, it won't resonate with you as well. But you got to remember, when that game came out back in, what was it, 2000, there was nothing, especially on consoles, nothing like it. And like, I was blown away by the production value. The music is gorgeous. I mean, I hum that music to this day. That do 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 do. I love the music in that game. Yu Suzuki was at the top of his game as far as I'm concerned. The game started off as a Saturn game, I think. And once they realized that it was going to end up being like 1,000 discs on Saturn, and what they were trying to do, I think it could have, it was possible on the Saturn, but I think obviously the Saturn didn't sell well, and that game wasn't really going to help it. It was just going to hinder the sales of that game. They decided to go with the Dreamcast, which made more sense because what was the was it a 4-disc game or 3-disc? I can't believe I played the game so many times I don't remember. But even the GD-ROM on the Dreamcast, it took 3 or 4 discs. I think it was 3 discs, and then the 4th disc was like the movie or something. I don't know. I should have pulled the game out. Anyway, the whole like day and night cycle, that wasn't new, but the way it was being used, what was that? Something disconnected. The way it was being used in that game was great. When, you know, with the whole people being in certain places at certain times, the whole detective nature of the game, the gut-wrenching story that starts right at the beginning. It's no spoiler that you're avenging your father's death, and the whole mysticism involved, and like I've said it before, that Virtua Fighter is my favorite fighting game series. And obviously it hasn't been served well for quite some time, or served at all. But like, because this game started off as Virtua Fighter RPG, if you didn't know, and they changed the characters and whatnot. As you can see, if you played Virtua Fighter, you know that Ryo is very similar to Akira from Virtua Fighter. He's basically modeled after that character, and you learn these Virtua Fighter moves. And all that stuff was just like amazing to me at the time. There was, like I said, there was no game like it. Graphically, it was mind-boggling for the time. You remember, this is 2000, and we hadn't had on console. We didn't have graphics like that yet. I think the PlayStation was looming, which was one of the things that hurt the Dreamcast, obviously, because a lot of people were actually waiting on PlayStation 2, and they didn't go out and buy a Dreamcast, sadly. But just all the things that game was doing production wise, just the whole kind of life simulator stuff it was doing, the open world aspects, the day and night cycle, the music, the visuals, like that game came together so beautifully at the time. And you know, if you go back now and play it doesn't hold up for maybe people who played it, but definitely probably doesn't hold up for people who haven't played it because of the kind of tank controls. They're not really tank controls, but they're tankish controls in the game. And I don't wonder if you get full analog in the remaster, HD remaster. I don't know that yet, but those games are just amazing. Shenmue 1 and 2, and when 2 came out, it was kind of overshadowed because the Xbox was the only way you can play it if you didn't get it in the UK or Japan on Dreamcast, because it never came out in the West, or well, it never came out in North America. Shenmue 2 didn't on Dreamcast, which is sad, but Dreamcast got discontinued, obviously, so they didn't want to, put funds behind it to put that game out. And the first one didn't do as well as they needed it to do with that budget. So, but mainly what I wanted to talk about when it came to the series, or when it comes to Shenmue, is obviously we got Shenmue 3 coming out. I think it was August 27, 2019. The game's supposed to come out, and it's looking better than it was that last trailer for sure. And part of me doesn't mind it as much, as far as because a lot of people point out the facial animations and stuff like that aren't up to par with what we got right now. Part of me doesn't mind it as much because I don't want it to be too far removed from the visual style, if you will, the art style of the original 2 games. But it needs a little bit more oomph, and it has time, obviously, to get that. Because you have Ryo character has the kind of mean face the whole time. He doesn't really emote very much right now, and I'm sure that's just like they're gonna fix that stuff up over this following year as the game is being launched or whatever. So looking forward to that. I don't know if Yu Suzuki is still planning on like an extended series, or if he's trying to like wrap up all his ideas in Shenmue 3, or maybe he's just gonna see how well it does. But it's funny that there's such a big, I know there's a cult following for Shenmue because I'm part of that cult. But it seems like there's a lot more people looking forward to this game, even beyond that cult following. I wish those people were around when the game came out originally. Obviously, some of them were probably too young at the time and probably just didn't have a Dreamcast, because that system didn't sell very well, which is so sad because it was such a great system. But Sega shot that system before it even came out with bad decisions. But I hope the game doesn't stray too far away from Shenmue 1 and 2, but obviously it needs to modernize in certain ways. Controls wise, it needs to modernize, but I hope it retains a little bit of that Shenmue jank, because that's part of the charm of that game. The voice acting, maybe the voice acting the way it was back then is not gonna fly today, but I love everything in that game, even including the jank. The jank for me is a part of what makes that game cool to me. So hopefully they won't stray too much. So any Shenmue fans in the chat? What are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to it? What do you think is going to be different in the game? What do you think they're going to add to modernize it? Let me know in the comments here, in the chat here. I'm going to go back and read some of you guys' stuff here. Let me go back a little further. Yeah, okay, I'm here. Cyril. Welcome, you and Retro Death, Shenmue, whatever Retro Death. You don't know nothing about good games. Shenmue is the truth. Again, if you weren't there at the time, it may not hit you, it may not resonate with you, but I was there at the time, and I guess this is a good time to talk about. Well, I'll read some of you guys' stuff here before I get into that. But Ryo Hazuki for Smash, yeah, that would be great. I would love that. Because we don't even have real Virtua Fighter. We don't have any Virtua Fighter representation in Smash, so I would be fine with if there's just Ryo in there, because he's basically Akira anyway. Cyril says, I pledged a $10 to my pay. Oh, thanks, man. Shout outs, man. To my Patreon. Did you get like a notification or something? I did not. I don't have all that set up yet. I'm gonna have to touch base with somebody who knows how to link all that stuff, because I don't really know how to do that yet, and I want to set up some incentives for you guys. I'm just not good at that stuff yet. So I'm gonna hit up probably OJ, because he seems to have that stuff down as far as linking all your different little things together and getting the notifications and all that. So I'm gonna ask him how he does all that, and hit him up to see how he does it, and link it all. So because I watch his live streams, and he gets all these pop-up notifications, and for every time somebody does something, and I want to thank you guys when you do that stuff, but if I don't know, I just I can't. So I'm gonna hit him up and see if he has some time to help me out with that. It looked amazing on Saturn. I think you're talking about Shenmue. Clocked it. Yeah, it looked great on Saturn. I watched all that footage. Yeah, man. I did a video about it because I didn't even know until a few years ago that game was actually prototyped on the Saturn, and it looked great on the Saturn. Like, it looked like facial animation, all that stuff. That's why I try to tell people, like, the Saturn was hard to program for, because in the last minute they threw in another CPU to compete to do 3D stuff, and it just wasn't very streamlined, and that's what made it hard to develop for. But when Sega started to grasp how to tap into that thing, the Saturn it's such a sad console because it never really got tapped out as far as what it could do. And I think had Sega streamlined the Saturn better, we could have got some really great looking games on the Saturn, and it could have done a whole lot more than it was able to do, sadly. But yeah, it looked great on the Saturn. The prototype did. Virtua Fighter for Switch would be great comeback for this. Oh man, don't play with me. Visor Grunt, like, yeah, that would be. I would love that. I mean, that has to happen. I'm sure that's going to happen. And it's going to come out in the Sega Aegis thing or something. Virtua Fighter I believe, will be there at some point. Microsoft screwed us over with the sequel, though. Sequel to what? You talking about the sequel to Shenmue? Human? Let me know. Just recently heard of the Shenmue series, but since I heard a lot of people comparing it to Yakuza series, saying that Yakuza is better. Is Yakuza better? I think Yakuza probably controls better, and it has all the modern stuff that Shenmue doesn't have. Like I said, controls, and there was a lot of loading in Shenmue, as far as when you go from section to section, because again, that game was pretty much ahead of its time. So, and in the HD versions, the loading is like cut down by a lot, because I think comparison-wise, I think it's like 6 to 7 seconds on stuff that used to take 40 seconds on the Dreamcast. So, huge difference. But yeah, I think the Yakuza series, it's more modern, so a lot of people like it better than Shenmue. But story-wise, I think this is my, from my perspective, I'm a little biased, obviously, because I played Shenmue way before Yakuza was a thing. I just think that story is more compelling. The music is more compelling. But Yakuza is definitely the spiritual successor to Shenmue. I don't know if Sega just didn't want to continue Shenmue after it kind of didn't sell very well. I just think it was just a bad time for Shenmue on Dreamcast when it came out, because the Dreamcast wasn't selling, and maybe Sega looked at it as like there was something wrong with Shenmue. I don't think so. I just think timing-wise it was a bad thing, and so they went with Yakuza. I think they pitched it to like Nintendo and everybody, and they all turned it down, so they just kind of did it themselves. But it just depends on who you ask which one is better. For me, Shenmue was better because of the story and the characters and the whole Virtua Fighter connection. But if you don't care about Virtua Fighter, or you had no nostalgia for the Shenmue, you probably think Yakuza better. I mean, it's opinion, so it's hard to say which is better. But I think if you haven't gotten into it, you might grasp Yakuza a little bit more than you would Shenmue. But who knows? I say try it both. I would say try Shenmue first before Yakuza, because like I said, Shenmue has a lot of old school control tropes. So I'd pimp my kids in order to get Virtua Fighter 6. All 5 of them clocked it. Rocky, no, you don't get full analog and remaster. So no full analog. The controls are still the same. For me, it's not going to matter. It's not going to bother me. But I could see like a more modern gamer who's not used to those controls being turned off by that. So that's something to think about. Clock that says, yeah, you get full analog in Shenmue. So which one is it? Rakia says no, and Clock that says yes. Who's right? Clock that says I read you did. I don't know. I don't know who's right on that. I'll have to look it up, check it out myself. Go check to be sure. Maybe I got it wrong. Google, go forth, brother, and fear no darkness. All right, Shenmue 4. Oh! Wait, Shenmue 4, what do you mean? Microsoft messed it up. I'm confused, Ewan. Elaborate, man, elaborate. Nah, you mentioned 3. That is looking meh. I'm a huge fan of 2. I own that. Okay. Brah. I own that shit, brah. Alright. So what's your problem? You just trying to give me shit or what? Clocked it. You mean Shenmue? Okay. 3. No. Alright. I just read a review that the controls are improved but not modern day standard. I mean, I don't know how much they could have done unless they not remastered it, but they did a remake. And there's really not a whole lot you can do with that control setup. You couldn't do, because I'm sure that it was programmed for what is it, 6 points, 4 points, turns, and all that kind of stuff. It's not full analog. I think, honestly, I believe the game was designed for a D-pad, because it did start on the Saturn, and the default controller for Saturn was a D-pad. So I think they just didn't tweak it enough when it came to the Dreamcast, and so that's why you have that D-padish feeling analog, if that makes any sense. So also, Rocky says also learned it was remastered by a UK studio called D3T. Yeah, I heard that too. And who also remastered games like Burnout Paradise. Laker Link, if Sega Ages does Streets of Rage with oh my god, why are you playing with me, man? Why are you playing? Yeah, that would be awesome, man. Streets of Rage with online co-op, beautiful. That would be beautiful. Ewan, yeah, they screwed us with Shenmue 2. No save transfers for it. Yeah. So that was the big thing about not getting it on the Dreamcast in the States, is we couldn't transfer our save over to Shenmue 2, and that sucked. So I think they had like a movie. Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I have the game, but I don't remember. Shenmue 2 on Xbox, OG Xbox, came with a movie disc of Shenmue 1. So to catch you up, if you didn't play Shenmue 1 on Dreamcast, Shenmue 2 came with a disc called Shenmue the Movie. There's a DVD. You put it in, and it's had all the cutscenes. It was like people do on YouTube today, where they go and take all the cutscenes out. They go take all the cutscenes and chop them up into a movie for YouTube. That's basically what it was. It was a cutscene version, or it was just the cutscenes from the first game to get you up to snuff. Is that right? Up to date on what the story was. So yeah, we got screwed in the States. Only $40, right? Why not try? What's $40? I thought Shenmue was $30. The Shenmue HD collection. Xbox movie disc. That sounds like booty. Yeah, the Xbox. Which is so weird, because to play DVDs on your Xbox, you had to have. I believe you had to have. You had to buy the remote with a dongle for it to work. Is that right? I believe that was the thing. Yeah, it's $30. I'm pretty sure for the HD collection for Shenmue. Yeah, and it came, like I said, the original Shenmue 2 on Xbox OG came with Shenmue the movie disc, DVD, so you can catch yourself up with the game from Shenmue 1 if you didn't get a chance to play it. So I wonder if that's expensive now. I haven't looked it up. I have it, but I don't care about like how much stuff costs unless I'm trying to buy it. As far as like old games or retro games, because I'm not going to sell my collection ever. Maybe someday I'll pass it on to my son, but and he can do whatever he wants to do with it, I guess. But I put it in his hands because I know he's a gamer, so he'll respect it. Unlike my siblings, that's why a lot of my collecting comes in, because I used to give systems and games to my siblings who weren't into games as much as I was, but I would give them to them, let them play it, and I'd come to the house and like the game discs I gave them would be on the bathroom floor. Like it was so heartbreaking how they did not take care of those games. And so what I've been doing, well, I haven't been doing it in a while. I think the last time I actively like bought retro games was like 2012. I may have bought one or two since then, but I used to give them a lot of my games and stuff, and I'm like rebuying some of the stuff I gave away to them. I'm no pre-GameCube head, but imagine a good remake of Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Yes, I would love that. They're actually doing, is it on PC only? They're doing a remaster of the first two, I think. That's a thing. I remember seeing that somewhere. And it looks really good. And it doesn't have the frame rate issues that the N64 one had, obviously. Which, you know, in those days didn't bother me. Even going back and playing them doesn't bother me because I'm used to it. But like it retains the visual art style of the first two games, from what I've seen. Maybe they're doing all three, I don't know. But like they're getting rid of the fog effect, the fog problem that the first one had, and obviously they're fixing the frame rate, and it looks really good. So check it out. Look it up on YouTube or something and see if that's a thing. I'm pretty sure that's a thing, and it's official. I don't think it's like some fan-made thing. I think it's an official thing where this company got the license and they're redoing them. Maybe they'll end up on consoles too. I'm not sure. Master Yoshi, Mr. T, have you seen The Legend of Neil? I have not. Is that a game? Is that an anime? What is that? Haven't seen that. This thing's falling again. Let's do it like that. Would love to play Extreme G. Oh, goodness. From the N64. I love Extreme G. See, that's what would get me more excited with this Nintendo Online, to go back to that real quick, is if we got N64 games online. Because obviously the N64 was the console for multiplayer back in those days because of the 4 controller ports. And that system would lend itself a lot better for me to be getting excited anyway for online multiplayer, not NES games. Like, is it cool? Sure. But, like, if you said N64, Super Nintendo, yes, now you're getting up there. But N64, if you had online multiplayer added into the whole online setup, the paid setup for Nintendo's online, games like Extreme G, games like F-Zero G, or not F-Zero GX, F-Zero X on N64, you know, anything, all the party games on N64, like that's the kind of stuff that would get me excited. Being able to play Smash 64, Super Smash Brothers online, like that would blow my mind. You know, being able to do that. Obviously, there are better Smash Brothers games out now, but that would be insane to me. Mario Kart 64, you know, what's the Super Mario 64, like the DS version. If they were to remaster that and do the co-op stuff that the DS version has, man, that would be insane. That would be insane. that's the kind of stuff that would get fans, I think, more excited for your online extras, to get them, obviously it being $20 makes it a lot easier pill to swallow, but NES games ain't exciting me as far as playing online. Give me some Super Nintendo, some N64, that's what I'm gonna get excited. So like, oh my god, like Turok. Turok 1 didn't have multiplayer, did it? I get them mixed up because I played all three of them. I think it didn't have multiplayer until Turok 2. And the multiplayer was great on that. And again, you could multiplayer, Turok online, multiplayer for Switch. Come on, man. Like, that's the kind of stuff that would get people excited, I think. That would be tremendous. Cloudy Game. What did he say? Give me Eternal Darkness HD remake. Yeah, Eternal Darkness HD remake. Yeah. I would want those over, even ports of last gen games to the Switch. Obviously, I said that would be cool, but like, yeah, I think that's the stuff that would get me more excited, because some of those games were hindered by the technical limitations. 360 PS3 games were hindered to some degree, mostly resolution wise and some frame rate wise, but the more like playing Perfect Dark, the original Perfect Dark, playing the remastered version on Rare Replay, or if you bought it on Xbox Live Arcade on the 360, like not seeing the frame rate stuff, seeing how smooth that game is, it's just 60 frames. Playing that game online, co-op would be, or online multiplayer, deathmatch, like that's insane, man. That's the kind of stuff that would excite me more. So, yeah, you guys aren't seeing much at this point. So, last topic, and it's going to be pretty small, as you see there, it says personal struggles. It's here for me. You guys heard me probably talk about. Wait a minute, let's go watch live action comedy short series, The Legend of Neil. Is that on YouTube? I'm guessing. I'll have to check it out. Like I said, personal struggles. I'm dealing with some. It's not nothing crazy. It's just that you guys probably heard me talk about moving, getting into a house with a bigger office so I can do more stuff with my YouTube. So I can have a kind of studio setting in my new house. So this has been a tough year for my family. Like we said, you probably know that I talk about being involved in the PTA, and it's just been a rough year for me. Not so much me as much as my wife. Basically, family and friends have kind of not been there for us here, and we just decided we just need to get out. Go make a move, go back down. We're gonna move back to Florida, but the thing is that my wife and my kids are already gone. Yes, they've already left, and we made that decision because the move is contingent on her finding work more than it is me. I will have no problem because I do my I have my personal biz that I do, and I'm going to be teaching, and that's going to be an easy transfer for me. But for her, it's a little bit tougher. She's a recruiter. I don't know if you know what that is. She does mostly IT recruiting and staffing, and it's a high demand job, but she has to she has to be there while she's applying for these jobs, because if she's applying and they see that her address is still here in Massachusetts, they kind of blow her off, and so she already went ahead down. She's staying with a friend, and also we're both looking for a house, and it's just easier for one of us to do it. It made more sense for her to do it because to go ahead with the kids, because school's starting here and it's already started down there, but we didn't want to put our kids in the school and then pull them out in a month or two. tops. So we decided to go ahead and just before school starts, just go ahead, go down, and put them in school and all that stuff. And this is very tough for me. I've never been away from my kids more than a few days. And my wife, I think she went on vacation with her friends once for a week, and that was tough. But it's been really rough for me. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually able to do these live streams I've been doing more frequently, because there's nobody here. I'm all alone in this big old house. And I've had more time to do so. So I'm not going to cry, am I, on live stream? It's just been kind of rough for me being all alone here. And, we moved here because of her family. And my family is closer than it was in Florida. Well, my aunts and uncles, cousins, and all that, they all live in New York. And in Massachusetts, that's where my wife is from. So all her family was here, and we thought we get more support that we haven't gotten over the last few years. So, and some of her friends have just kind of flaked on her, and like her best friend that she's had since she was little, just kind of flaked, and she's off, kind of not being as attentive as she used to be, and it's rough. It's been rough, and we did the PTA thing, and the community we live in is not very supportive of that kind of stuff, the PTA and all that kind of stuff, and so that whole process has been rough on both of us, because we came in with we were all gung ho and excited, and we wanted to make a change and build the community up, and there's just some really bad people in this community, just stuck in their entitled ways, and me teaching and being in the PTA has pretty much opened my eyes up, and her being the PTA president has opened her eyes up, and it sucks because she grew up here, and seeing it's weird. It's like you're seeing your home in a different way, and that's what we saw, and we just didn't like what we saw. So we're making the move, because we want our kids to thrive in a nice community where they can grow. So, like I said, she went ahead, and so she's probably going to we're trying to minimize it as much as we can. So, hopefully no more than a month before I take off. And that's another thing I'm doing in the house. I'm like slowly packing things up on my own, getting boxes and doing that whole process, which is not fun. But I'm doing it. It's not that big a deal at the end of the day, because I do it at my own pace. Well, we're moving to South Florida. I actually lived in Tampa for 17 years, and that's where she was in Florida because of a longtime friend of hers, girlfriend of hers, and we met down there, and we lived there together for like almost 3 years before we decided to move back up here. So yeah, South Florida. That's where we're relocating to, going back home for me. And it's so funny because like I grew up in New York, and when I went back last, it didn't feel like my home anymore. I had lived in Tampa for so long that became my home, and it felt like I was in a foreign country a little bit, going around my old neighborhood. So okay, I'm in Miami. Yeah, I think you said it before. Miami. Yeah, I've been to Miami. Miami is about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. I've taken that drive before. Miami's crazy. Tampa's crazy too, but Miami's definitely got us beat. Yeah, man, thanks. So I'm gonna just read you guys' comments real quick, and I wanted to kind of talk about my plans for my channel and whatnot. So where are we? If you want to laugh your ass, okay. I think you're giving me the tear emoji for me. I think that's for me. Thanks, man. Ports in 10 to 20 years, and yes, ports that are 5 years ago. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, I feel people are blowing the online play for retro games way out of proportion. I think besides leaderboards, we won't get much. Yeah, I agree with that, Retro. I don't think we'll get much from that. Good luck with all the changes, bro. Thank you, No Filter. I'm I'm not new to this. Like I talked about it before. I think I talked about it during my Labo video, my Nintendo Labo video. Like as a kid, we moved all the time because my dad's job, he worked for this major farming company, and he was like the boss's right hand man. So we would move seasonally. Sometimes I would stay in New York and didn't go back with them, or didn't go down with them. But this is how it worked. Fall, we were in New York for the apple season. Spring, we were in Florida for orange season. And then the summer, I spent a lot of my summers as a kid all by myself on work camps, which was basically like farming camps. We would spend summers in South Carolina. So, and that's where a lot of my imagination came from, is me just being the only kid around, riding my bike around peach orchards, building those little, like I said with the Labo video, building those little cardboard sets. And that's a lot of my creativity came from that. So moving is not a new thing for me. I don't want it to be a thing for my kids, because that is a tough thing. We're not going to do that. I want to get to a community we can settle and they can grow and prosper. So that's not going to happen here, and that's why we decided to make the move. For me, I have a coat of armor because of that. With the moving and making friends and losing friends and making friends and losing friends, it was tough as a kid. So that's one of the reasons I'm such a big gamer. One of the reasons I'm such a writer is because I would bury myself in video games, and I would bury myself in like my writing and stuff. So out of that torment, out of that pain became, my some of my best characteristics. So I wouldn't change it for the world. Like the way I grew up, I wouldn't change for the world. But I don't want my kids to go through that. I want them to grow up with a group of friends, in a community they've been in their whole life, and then decide what they want to do, So, yeah, that's where I am with that. So, Clouding Gaming. Oh my God, I feel like my ex was from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Yeah, I know where that is. The Sticks. That is the Sticks. We were in. Oh my God, what was the town? It was a little crappy town. That that farm was in. Oh my gosh, I can't remember it right now. Maybe I'll mention it in a different live stream if I can come up with it. But it was the Sticks. Like there was nothing. It was trees, a shack of a store, of a general store, and more peach orchards everywhere. I don't like peaches to this day because of my experience of so much peaches during my summers when I was a kid. Like, don't give me any peach tea, no peach cobbler. And it was funny because that's what my dad would do, is that because there was peaches everywhere, literally all around us. We were in the middle of a peach orchard on this farm. My dad would make peach wine. Dad's so crafty, man. He's the old Georgia boy. He would make peach wine. He would make peach cobbler. It was so good. But after years of that stuff, I just got tired of it. There wasn't even any Walmarts around. I mean, I'm talking like, late 80s, early 90s. Walmart didn't pick up until what? Till around that time, early 90s, when Walmart started taking over everywhere. So there was nothing. There was no malls. There was none of that stuff. If I wanted to have fun anywhere, we'd have to drive to like the border of North Carolina, South Carolina. If you know that border, south of the border, was like the big thing, the big area, the big kind of. It was like a Six Flags-ish type of thing. It was like a Universal Studios type of thing back then. Now it's kind of a shell of what it used to be, but south of the border was that spot. So, as a kid, like I said, it was just me, and my mom would work in the kitchen, feeding a bunch of grown dudes, hungry dudes on the camp, and that's how I spent a lot of my summers. It wasn't until 13 I stayed in New York until 15, and that's when we moved to Tampa when I was 15. So, yeah. I wouldn't change any of that stuff. It was tough as a kid, like I said, but I wouldn't change it because a lot of that stuff made me who I am the way I am. So, let me read some of you guys' comments here. The sticks. Retro Death. I moved so often in my life that I have nobody left around me but my family. Your kids will thank you. Yeah. I don't want that on them. I don't know if they'll adjust the way I did. And, it was tough taking them away from their friends here. But I felt if we were going to do it, let's do it now while they're still young. And do that, they'll be fine. Peach Moonshine. Yo. I got a story. The first time my dad hit me up with that, I was like 10 years old. He shouldn't have been doing that. And he threw a little peppermint ball in it. And boy, as a 10-year-old, it didn't take much. Put a little hair on the chest. But yeah, Peach Moonshine. My dad, he was, like I said, he was crafty. He used to make all that stuff and sell it. He was a businessman. Like he had his little side stuff all the time. Surreal Entertainment. Dame is a T. I want to donate more, man, but the $10 a month is about the best. No problem, man. Don't worry about it. Like, obviously, with the moving and stuff, that definitely helps. But we're good to go. We're not, we do okay. It's just, it's a stressful situation to be in. And now having to do all this stuff without my family around is tough. But again, this is one of those experiences, like I said, when I was a kid, that is going to make me, I'm going to grow from and be stronger. And like I said, it's allowing me to do these live streams more often more, what's the word? More scheduled than before. So, and then when I get to the house, our new house, I'm going to be able to do it regularly too, because I'm going to have my own studio office basically. So it'll be good. Where are we? I saw Peach Cobbler is amazing. It is. Jerome, what's up, Super Bros? Yeah, Peach Cobbler is good, but like I said, man, I ate peaches so much. That sounds kind of funny. But I ate peaches so much, like my stomach was just like, I don't want it no more. And I'm sure I would definitely still eat my dad's peach cobbler today. Like I said, he was a boss at that. So gotta set up an account to donate on YouTube. You don't even know where to start, really. Don't even know where to start. No filter. Yeah, it was. Master Joshi, did you read my comment about finding? Yeah, I said it. You didn't hear me, Master Joshi? I said I was going to check it out. Legend of Neo. I feel like I've seen that. Or some of it. But I don't know. When Smash comes out, man, shut up. Shut up, Super Bros. You ain't doing nothing. You're doing nothing on that Smash but getting your head caved in. But, I don't want you... Like I said in a tweet to Super Brothers that his favorite main, or his main in Smash was Duck and Hunt duo. Get it? Ducking. He be ducking. He talks a lot of smack about Smash, but when the games come out, I don't see you nowhere. But yeah, talking about my fam got me a little misty eyed. But yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap this thing up pretty soon here. Thank you guys again for joining. If you don't have it, you can ask me any questions you want, not just gaming related. If you want to ask me some other things, that's fine. Like I said, I'm talking about my family. I'm getting a little bit more personal than I usually do. So if you want to ask me about, work, how I do what I do. It seems like this week, or the last couple of weeks, a lot of people have been asking me for helping them out with intros for their videos. So I did one for I've done some stuff for Jay from the Gaming Cafe. You've seen me probably do live streams with him about movie stuff. I want to introduce that. That's another thing I want to do, is I want to maybe add that, but I don't know if I don't want to muddle my audience, because I know you guys are all about the gaming stuff I do. So maybe I'll start a new channel with that. And just do movie stuff, because that's my thing. Like I'm a filmmaker. I went to school for that, so I want to do more movie related stuff. So I just joined. Why are you moving? I'm moving because go back and watch this when it uploads. But mainly because we don't have the support system in this area that we thought we were gonna have, and we have that in Florida. So we're making the move while the kids are still young, to where it won't affect them too much. Excuse me. So yeah, that's why we're moving. And I'm kind of over these winters. They're getting worse. The winters are getting worse and the summers are getting worse. So global warming is going to kill us all anyway. So Florida will probably be underwater. We'll be living like we're in what's the Atlantis. We'll be living like Atlanteans in Florida pretty soon anyway. So yeah, like I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll on Twitter to see if you guys would want to see movie stuff. It won't be too much. It'll be maybe one video a week or something like that. To where I do movie stuff. I was thinking about me and Puppet T kind of doing a review for a movie or talking about movies or something, and going back and forth, playing off each other. So I'll do a Twitter poll and see if you guys are interested in that or not. If not, I'll just do it on a different channel, and I'll do links to it if you guys want to go subscribe to that. So yeah, global warming is going to kill us all. So everything we do right now doesn't really matter, and there's no initiative in our politicians, so we're all screwed. All right, brother. Do you remember Turok 2008? Turok 2008? No, I don't actually. What is that? Let me read some of these comments. I gotta simply use Win Smash. Yeah, Smash. Ewan, what if Drone Crusher was actually Sakurai? Laker Link, isn't it funny how all these Sony fans are quiet now that Switch won NPD and Octopath Traveler was #1? Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. Like I should have. I don't really talk too much about sales, but that was really cool to see. I think Octopath could have done better had they had enough carts out there, but it was really good to see a Japanese RPG with a Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn kind of visual art style to it, top the NPD, and push Switches to top the NPD. So, I mean, that's crazy. In 2018, that's bananas, but I love it. Especially the retro gamer in me, I love it. And I hope to see more of that. And that's only going to encourage indies to bring out their inner 16-bit inner child in more games, and I'm all for that. I'm all for that because I feel like the 16-bit ended. The 16-bit era ended too fast back in the day because technology was changing so quick in those days. Like it was all about 3D. Once we got Star Fox and the FX chip and all that stuff, and once you saw Virtua Fighter and we started using polygons, once that happened, everybody jumped, it seemed like, to the next technology. And so I don't feel like 16-bit got enough time to really spread its wings. And you got a little bit more of that with the Game Boy Advance when it came out. You got companies spreading their wings a little bit more on that. But I feel like they weren't in the right mentality to really give 16-bit, 32-bit games as much shine as they needed on the Game Boy Advance even. And I feel like these retro, these indie companies are really pushing they're bringing back that era, like I said, that where we could have gotten more out of that era. And it's good to see that. It's really cool to see that happening. So Drone, I said I was moving to Tampa, Florida. Well, not Tampa. We're moving Kissimmee, Orlando area, most likely. That's where we're looking for houses right now. So have I watched MLP Friendship? is magic. I don't watch a whole lot on YouTube. If that's a YouTube thing, no. I mean, if it's not a YouTube thing, I still haven't seen it. So I don't watch a whole lot of stuff on YouTube. There's a couple of I mostly watch smaller YouTubers in this community, and some movie stuff. I watch more movie stuff from small to bigger YouTubers, but I don't really get into too much on YouTube. What's my opinion on bronies? I have no idea what bronies are, actually, so I don't really have an opinion. I missed the puppet. Mizity. Don't worry. If you watch my last video, you wouldn't be missing the puppet, and you would understand that he's going to be doing a what do you call it? A commentary about A Hat in Time coming to the Switch. So that'll probably be up tomorrow. So look out for that. You and Ralph, the movie maker, should collaborate. Haven't heard of Ralph the movie maker. I'm willing to collaborate with anybody. So as long as they're cool peeps. So Yo Fu, how's the Ass Hat in Time video doing? It's doing. Like I said just now, it'll probably be up tomorrow. So be looking for that, and you'll be getting more puppet tea. So I feel you on the 16-bit era ending too soon. Yep, I miss the old days. But what's cool, like I said, is that we're getting a taste of the old days again with these indie companies. So that is dope. Very cool to see. Very cool to see that coming, especially blown up the way it is on Switch with the indie companies selling crazy numbers. So we're gonna get more and more, man. So that's a cool thing. Windjammers got a sequel after what, 25 years? Windjammers. So crazy. Laker Link, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, so we're at 2 hours now, so I'm about to shut this thing down. If you guys have nothing else you want to add, again, thank you for coming out to the stream again. I appreciate that. I'll keep these things going if you guys, keep showing up, and make sure you hit the like if you haven't. That obviously helps. It helps me determine how often I'm gonna do these things. So I'll know you guys are watching. Let's see. Some people just popped in with some questions. I think. Ewan, I think it would be a decent if the game's any good. Ipsters, what's up, Ipsters? What happens to the old gamers at large? Butterworth, Shadowfox has actually been on. He's been on Juice's Loose podcast. Have you been watching, man? Have you been watching? He's been on the last few weeks because Retro Death is out for a while. So he's doing that. Butterworth actually asked me some time ago to do he wants me to do an intro for him because he wants to come back to making videos. So I actually got to hit him up because I kind of flaked on that. I got real busy. So he may be coming back with some stuff too. And I won't say we all been, but a few of us have been talking about kind of putting GAL back together in some form, at least a podcast, and see where it goes from there. But as you've seen, I still represent GAL in my intro, so I'm still holding out hope, so maybe that will be a thing coming up soon. In the last year or so, I've been thinking about it. I haven't really had the time, especially when I added teaching to my resume. But when I get to my house, when we get settled in, I'm gonna make a push on this channel. I've been talking about that for a while. Obviously, I'm coming on camera and stuff now, so I'm gonna make a push on the channel and see where I can go, see where I can get. So for all you long time guys, make sure you're hitting the like. I know that's so corny. I feel corny even saying it, but that's the kind of stuff that's gonna determine growth on my channel. And the more growth I get, the more I can pull away from. I'm going to continue to teach, but the more I can pull away from my side business. It's a side business now, I say, but actually I still make more doing that. But the more, because it's based on my scheduling. It's based on I'm my own boss with that, so I determine what type of work I do for who, what clients, and all that stuff. So the more if I can grow on YouTube, the more I can pull away from that and do more YouTube stuff. So if you guys care to see me do more stuff like this, and because I got crazy ideas. Like this is called the Mr. T Show from the beginning. I mean, I changed the name recently to add the show part, but that was my idea for this channel for a long time. From coming in, I wanted to have a show to where you have a bunch of different little shows, way more elaborate stuff, and actually have my own show. Because ever since I was a kid, I wanted my own show, you know. So that's part of the reason I went to film school, was because I wanted to get into the show business. So, and I've done some independent films, and I've mostly filmed music videos for local artists and commercials for small business and stuff like that. But as far as, I went to film school to be a filmmaker, to make movies and make TV shows. And, I've been writing for forever, because I have series ideas that I want to pitch to Netflix and other networks. So, but, while I'm working at it, while it's panning out, that's stuff that I can bring to my YouTube channel. I can bring more fun show stuff, and that's what I want to do. So I want you to play my Mario Maker level, T. All right, let me copy it right now. Copy the code. Master Yoshi, I will play it. I've been wanting to get back into Mario Maker. I haven't played it in a while. So let me, all right, I got it copied. Let me bring up my notepad or something. Word takes forever to freaking load, so let me bring up WordPad. Microsoft Word takes forever. What am I missing here? I'm about to cut out of this thing. I'm getting long in the tooth here. Where is my WordPad? Now that's taking forever. Good stream, dude. Thank you, No Filter. What are your thoughts on Nindies Direct? I'll actually talk about that in a video. But yeah, I'm always, I'm a indie guy in film and in video games. So I'm all about those indies. So I'm excited to see. All right, there it is. I copied it. You put your name so I know. Master Yoshi. What is it? Mario Maker. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's on Tuesday, right? So it's so weird that they gave such a huge notice for when that's coming. Yeah, so I think that's about it, right? I might hire you to film a best of both worlds movie. How exciting would that be? Two dudes sitting in a room. You don't need me to film that. Oh, a best of both worlds movie. That's funny. I called it Fun Run. Fun Run. Check out my other levels. Okay. I will, Master Yoshi. I definitely will. Because my Wii U is still hooked up and I play it still pretty regularly. Just haven't played that game in a while. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream, guys. Again, thank you for hanging out, chilling out with me again. I'll probably be back here again next week doing the same thing. So, because I'm all alone, all by my lonesome in this house. So I'm kind of sad. And so, chatting it up with you fools helps, keep my mind off of the fact that my family is over 1,000 miles away. But I talk to them every day. I see them. What's the video thing called? iPhone. We do that like every day. So they've only been gone a few days now. It hasn't been that long. So, but like I said, I haven't been away from them ever. So this is tough. But this is what we got to do. One of us had to go down and set up. So, all right, guys. Thank you for joining me again. Maybe I haven't, because I want to live stream some gaming. But I think I fried somehow. I think I fried my my capture card, my Elgato. It's been wonky. It hasn't been working right. So I haven't been able to capture anything. I'm going to have to get another one, I guess. So we'll see what happens with that. But thank you guys. Like I said, I think my A Hat in Time video will be up tomorrow, so look out for that. And everybody have a great weekend. And one more thing. Play Nintendo, fools. Peace. It's going to take me a second to end this stream because my computer is slow. This is awkward. Alright, I'll do it from here because this is tripping. Alright, guys. Peace.